Ladies, have you ever heard of this thing called the knack? Hey, I'm Dr. Wendy, physical therapist, and I have been a physical therapist for 17 years taking care of women. And let me tell you about this crazy thing called the knack. So in research, when I was doing research with the pelvic floor and transversus abdominis, when you look at evidence-based things, they talk about getting the knack. And they literally would put this in the research articles. The knack is getting the knack of contracting your pelvic floor before you cough or sneeze or lift. And honestly, if you're not practicing that, I think you should. I think you should get the knack of learning how to contract your pelvic floor and your abs before you cough, sneeze, or bear down. Now listen, if you have pelvic pain, this statement is not for you. Pelvic pain is a different group from incontinence. But if you're leaking and you've had babies, because when a watermelon comes out a hole the size of a lemon, it comes out like a wrecking ball. And sometimes you can have some temporary nerve damage. Sometimes you can have muscles that tear. Oftentimes your muscles are just stretched out and they don't know how to fire again. So you need to recalibrate yourself when you are postpartum and get the knack of contracting your pelvic floor before you cough, sneeze, bear down. If you don't teach yourself that firing pattern, it might not come back. But you know what? I believe you can do it. So if you're leaking, today I want you to think about, before you lift up your kid, before you lift up your laundry basket, before you lift up your groceries, think about engaging your pelvic floor and drawing that up and in. I'm not asking you to hold your breath. I'm not asking you to bear down. I'm just asking you to have awareness of your pelvic floor before you cough, sneeze, or bear down. Now, if your pelvic floor is really, really weak and we don't have a lot of sustenance to work with, that's okay. Just do your best. I mean, that is getting the pathway going. If you wanted to work on your strengthening, we could talk about you doing some Kegels every day, laying on your back 10 times, 5 seconds. Just try something real small. One of the greatest hangups with women and pelvic floor dysfunction is lack of education, and they're not putting themselves first in their day, and they don't commit to those exercises. So I'm here to tell you about the knack. And then a secret side note is, if you're not doing your Kegels and you have weakness, you need to set aside that 2 minutes to do your 10 times 5 seconds, because you're not so busy you can't do a Kegel because you are not too busy to put your pad in, and that takes just as much time. So anyway, that's it. Talk to you later. Bye.